Welcome, everybody, to RMAC Baseball Weekly. I'm the media man. With me is the RMAC Insider. Sir, how are we feeling today?
Well, we had a great week of RMAC baseball. We got a RMAC team that is ranked number one in the nation in D2 baseball, and we got a great weekend of baseball coming up as we go into the Easter holiday, and can't really be much better than that.
No, it cannot. It doesn't beat it when it's Easter weekend. There's all kinds of good baseball going around. But let's start off with the standings and the rankings. Let's take a look at the RMAC standings first up here. Colorado Mesa remains at the top at 30-3 overall, 16-0 in the RMAC. Metro State is rolling right now, sitting at 12-0. UCCS had a hot weekend. They're 14-1-1 on the week on the season this far in the RMAC. CSU Pueblo comes in right behind them, 5-7. Colorado School of Mines at 6-10. Adams State 5-11. Regis 2-9-1. Colorado Christian at 2-14, and New Mexico Highlands gets their first conference win. We'll talk a little bit more about that. At 1-11 in the RMAC. I mean, anything surprise you here? Nothing really surprises me right now. I would say the Pueblo record would be the one that surprises me the most.
Yep, Pueblo's there. I think UCCS is extremely disappointed with their loss. You know, Otherwise they'd be 15-0 and probably be in the conference play or 15-0-1. Then it'd be have that little better overall record, and we'll get into the rankings here pretty soon. And I think if they can keep playing their baseball, they should hopefully start getting receiving votes here soon, and them and MSU Denver maybe sneaking up into the rankings here.
I think we definitely could see, especially MSU Denver, could sneak into the rankings. As we take a look at those rankings, we'll start off with the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association rankings. Coming in at number 2, there's Colorado Mesa, getting a little bit of help with a couple losses by a couple of those teams that were above them. They're sitting at number 2 in the country currently.
Yep, and then the diagram is kind of cut off here, but even down below, as far as receiving votes, MSU Denver is finally receiving some votes and hopefully be making their way up to the top here. But yeah, Mesa, they kind of benefited from Pittsburgh State, had a couple losses, 2 or 3 in their series this last weekend, and Catawba, they lost a couple. Yeah, they took advantage. Swept their series and getting 5 first place votes and sitting at number 2 in this one.
Yeah, and when you take a look at the D2 baseball rankings, they're sitting at lone atop at number 1 with a 30-3 record. Best record, I feel like, in Division II baseball. As I take a look at these rankings right now, they do have the best record at 30-3 overall.
Yep, first team in the nation to hit that 30 win mark, and I think that kind of helped propel them into that first place spot as well. But yeah, they're a solid team, and they deserve that number 1 spot for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be very long before we start to mention Metro State Denver in these rankings, but right now, Colorado Mesa remains the only RMAC team to sit in either standings of the rankings. Obviously, MSU Denver receiving votes. And let's talk about the Roadrunners of Metro State Denver here. They took on Adams State. We see in this one 11-9 victory. What was the key in this one for you?
The key in this one here is kind of at the end. You look at that 9th inning, and there's 5 runs in that 9th inning. Alec Martinez stepped up to the plate, and he came up big with the walk-off grand slam in that 9th inning to otherwise MSU Denver was kind of on the verge of potentially dropping this one, and obviously they wouldn't be receiving votes if that were to occur. So yeah, they had some people step up in the clutch there in that 9th inning to get them over that hump.
Every kid's dream. You're down in the bottom of the 9th, and you get a bases loaded situation, walk-off grand slam for the Roadrunners. They take game 1. Game 2 was a 6-5 closer game, very much closer in this one.
Yeah, it was. Here the Roadrunners kind of got on the board first. Noah Wick hitting a 2-run home run. They tacked on 4 more in the bottom of the 2nd. Top of the 3rd, Grizzlies tried to fight back. Aiden Tauscher, he's been coming on strong lately. Had a good series this series. Singled up the middle, kind of cut that lead to 6-3 there. Then, top of the fifth, Aiden Tauscher, he does it again, another 2 RBI single. Basically making MSU Denver's lead to 6-5. But then pitching and defense kind of took over from that spot. And that's kind of how that game ended, with the Roadrunners taking another close one here in game 2 in order to take a 2-0 lead in the series.
Carter Swan gets to save his 4th on the year. 2 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, no earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts as the Roadrunners take game 2 and have control of the series going into game 3. And game 3 was a little bit of a different one.
It was.
I'd say.
Yep. Roadrunners jump out again early. Michael Dietz hits one over the left field wall for a 3-run home run. Then we go into the bottom of the 4th with the Roadrunners leading here 4-2. And we'll see Marcus Abelhausen gets a single into left field, bringing in Brady Orem from third. With MSU Denver then takes a 7-2 lead into the 5th. But then the Grizzlies' Christian Altamirano cuts into that lead with a solo home run. But the Roadrunners just kind of continue to pile it on. In the bottom of the 5th, we'll eventually here see Luka Roljancic. He doubles down the left field line to bring in Blake Wilson from third. That doubles right there. The Roadrunners basically go on to take this one by a little wider margin than the last couple. We'll get the correct one up here. This one by a score of 9-4.
9-4 victory in game 3, clinching the series for sure for the Roadrunners, as Kaufman goes 6-inning pitch, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, no walks, 5 Ks. It's a big number of Ks right there for Kaufman to have. This Roadrunners pitching staff, they've been good all year. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on as we look into their next series coming up next week. Yeah. Game 4, what you got for us there?
Well, in game 4, Josh Parks gets the Grizzlies on the board on the top of the 1st with this, 3-run shot over the right field wall. While they get off to a good start, and you're thinking, well, they're going to, make this one a game. I mean, it was all Roadrunners from this point on. Bottom of the 2nd, River Jackson doubles to center field to bring in 2. Then Royce Van Dyne hits a 3-run home run to right center, which we'll see right in this next clip here. Sends it flying. Basically, deepest part of the field. This one, the announcer was actually remarking how it went over the scoreboard instead of hitting it. Actually went over. Still in the 2nd here, Braden Orem, he hits an RBI double to right center, just out of the grasp of the diving right fielder there. Finally, Luka Roljancic finishes off the Roadrunners half of the 2nd with a 2 RBI single. And basically a 9-run 2nd inning basically seals it for MSU Denver, and they complete that series sweep with a 15-3 win.
Metro State Denver gets the win 15-3. I mean, I don't know how else to put it other than a dominant performance. The pitching was phenomenal for the Roadrunners. Drew Peters gets the win in 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, no earned, no walks, 4 Ks. Just a good weekend for the Roadrunners all the way around.
It was, and interesting how that first game played out. Seemed like Adams State was going to, potentially get that win in that first game, but just kind of lost it at the bottom of the 9th there. Then the next game, game 2, was, close as well. But then Adams, MSU Denver, kind of, took the wind out of their sails, and just, the last couple games of the series really kind of, took control and took it to them.
So you go from Adams State, Metro State, Denver to CSU Pueblo and Colorado Christian. This one up down in Pueblo. Give us what you got in game 1.
You bet. So here, Mason Hagel Pitt, got it started, for the Cougars in top of the 1st inning with an RBI sacrifice fly to right field. Then the top of the 3rd, we got Hagel Pitt again. He gets a high chopper to the left of the pitcher's mound towards the third base. And not only does he hustle down the line to beat the throw, but Lucas Hinsey comes in from third to score. In the top of the fifth, Hagel Pitt hits another RBI sacrifice fly. This one to deep center, making it easy for Gregory Rangel to tag up and score. And Colorado Christian's Cade Lacey then adds two more with a two-run shot over the left field wall to give the Cougars a 7-0 lead in the bottom of the fifth. Still in the bottom of the fifth here, are going into the bottom fifth. So here we're into the bottom of the fifth. The Thunderwolves attempt to mount a comeback. Jake Hexenbaugh, hits a single up the middle to bring in two Pueblo runs. It's two of their four in that inning. Then the top of the sixth, Cougars add one more behind Gregory Rangel's RBI single to right field. Eventually here we'll get to the bottom of the seventh. The Thunderwolves then are going to get the run back that the Cougars scored the inning before on a solo home run over here to left field. You see in the screen right now. Then with the score 8-5 going to the top of the eighth, Colorado Christian adds two more runs. One of them off of this sacrifice fly here by Gregory Rangel into left field. And the Cougars end up taking game one against the Pack here by a score of 10-6 to get the series, off to an interesting start.
Yeah, so 10-6 victory for the Cougars as they went into Pueblo and took one from the Thunderwolves. Zachary Hill goes 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 2 walks, 2 Ks, and gets the victory to move to 1-1 on the season. Game two.
Well, we have a game two. The Cougars jump out to a 2-0 lead. Pueblo's Cooper Latino, he gets to work in the bottom of the first as he doubles down the left field line to bring in two to tie it up. Then we go to the top of the second, though, and the Cougars reclaim the lead on a 2 RBI single by Cade Lacey on a ball that just gets past a diving Tae-Young Kim into left. In the bottom of the third, we get Cooper Latino again here. He gets his second double of the game, this one, also to left field to bring one across. After the Thunderwolves tie it up at 4 in the bottom of the third, the Cougars jump right back on top in the fourth behind a pair of RBI doubles by Aiden Welsh. And then we got another RBI double by Cade Lacey. Pueblo, however, refuses to lay down. Logan Kelly starts off the bottom of the sixth with a 3-run blast left field, and then Cooper Latino ends the scoring for the Thunderwolves in the inning with an RBI single to left. The Thunderwolves then take this game, by a score 9-7 to even the series at 1 apiece.
9-7 the final in that one as the Thunderwolves got their way back into the win column for game two. They would have a tied series headed into game three, looking to secure the series.
And in this game,
I guess, really.
Yeah, in this game, Cooper Latino, he had a game 3 of 4 with 4 RBIs, 1 run, hit 2 doubles, and we're going to see he has another game in game 3 here, and that's eventually going to help him get that Player of the Week award that we'll get to here shortly as well. So, yeah, going into game 3, kind of had a pitcher's duel in this one. Both teams scoreless going into the bottom of the fifth, and Pueblo's Cooper Latino hits a 2-run shot over the left field wall to give the Thunderwolves on the board. After this, and Jake Hexenbaugh add another run in the fifth when he came, and then he ends up coming home on a wild pitch to give Pueblo a 3-0 lead. In the top of the sixth, Colorado Christian's Brandon D. Hondo attempted to, spark the Cougars offense with a solo shot. But that's really all that the, was going to get going. And I'll get the right box score up here. The Thunderwolves end up taking this game 3 as well by a score of 3-1.
Yeah, definitely a pitcher's duel. Luke Ruby gets the win. He goes to 2-0 on the year, 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. only run that the Cougars would score would come in the top of the 6th. CSU Pueblo put up the crooked spot in the 5th with a 3. And once again, Cooper Latino, man, 2 for 3, 2 RBIs, 1 run, and a 2-run shot in this one. For the Thunderwolves to get the series victory, they were going to have to play Game 4. And they went into Game 4 looking to secure the series victory, and they did big time.
They did. They got.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. They got a big offensive explosion here, and then behind Tyler Clements, he had a great outing on the mound here with 6 innings pitched. 2 earned runs, 4 Ks. Surprisingly, Cooper Latino, he got the game off. Must have figured to rest him after everything that he did the last 2 games. But the Thunderwolves really kind of took control of this one as well to get a 14-8 win.
Yeah, 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts for Clements on the mound to secure his 4th victory of the season. Cooper Latino wins Player of the Week in the RMAC after CSU Pueblo secures the victory in the series 3-1.
And I have a quick story about Cooper. It would probably have been about 2-3 years ago. One of my boys and I were down in Gearing, Nebraska. Cooper was at the time playing for, I believe it was the Denver Cougars, and the Bathauer brothers from Adams State were on that team. But it was during the summer league, and they're playing. I think it was like the Western Nebraska Pioneers, and I just, the play of that game that just stuck out to me was, Cooper was actually playing at third. There's a kind of a soft ground ball to third base, and he just ran up on it. Was able. I mean, it was. Got the ball in his glove, a quick, exchange into his throwing arm, made that throw. It was all, just like perfect. It was, unbelievable. I'll remember that probably, as long as I live. It was an amazing play, and, not surprising, he's an amazing player.
Cooper Latino is your Player of the Week for CSU Pueblo for the Thunderwolves. We move on to Grand Junction, where the Colorado School of Mines Diggers went to visit the Mavericks.
Yeah, this one, game 1, started off as a pitcher's duel with Jackson K going for Colorado Mines and Caleb Ruter on the mound for Mesa. After 3.5, it was 0-0. But in the bottom of the 4th, Joey Blank gets it started. He brings in the first 3 runs with a monster shot to left field. Kobe Felix here. He then lines one to the left field to bring in Candy Hara. And Mesa scores 4 in the bottom, of the 4th inning. Mesa kept it going. He gets 2 more in the top of the 5th. But the Mavericks absolutely went off in the bottom of the 6th. Ezra Farmer hits a 2-run home run over the right field fence. Then Rocco DiFrancesco brings in 2 with a single to left. Then Jackson Lappiner, he'll bring in another run on a single here to right that we'll see. And the Mavericks end up scoring 10 in the bottom of the 6th, and they win this one in 7 innings by a score of 16-0.
The Mavericks get the win 16-0 in that one to secure game 1. Yeah, Cartwright 4 for 5, 3 runs, a double. He was the Player of the Week last week. Kobe Felix 3 for 4. Just all the way down the line, you're going to see a hit or more from this Colorado Mesa Mavericks team. Just a rough day at the park for Colorado School of Mines, especially playing at night in Grand Junction.
Yep, it was. But, a bright spot there is Jackson K. Yeah, he's a, very good pitcher, great guy, great player. He did have a, really good, start to this game. Unfortunately, Mesa's lineup is just explosive, and to keep them down for, too long is almost impossible. So, but yeah, I was impressed with K's outing, and of course, Ruter. He probably had an outing that he wasn't too happy with last weekend. So, not surprised that he comes out and has the dominant performance that he did. Going 6 innings, 6 Ks, 0 earned runs. Just absolutely impressive. Just basically how he was 2 weekends ago when he got the Pitcher of the Week award.
Yeah, full line for Ruter. 6 innings pitched, no runs, no earned, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, doubled his strikeouts to his walks. Game 2 for the Mavericks and the Diggers. We'll see Mesa jump out to an early lead here on this one.
Yeah, they get this 3 runs in the bottom of the second, thanks in part to a 2 RBI double by Noah Neufeld. Then we go to the top of the third. Mine cuts Mesa's lead with Owen Hicks solo home run over the left field wall to make it 3-1. But we're gonna hear a name here over and over. We get Noah Neufeld. He steps up to the plate again in the bottom of the third, and he brings in his third RBI of the game with this RBI single to center field. In the bottom of the fifth, surprise, surprise, we got Noah Neufeld. He gets his fourth RBI of the game as he draws a bases loaded walk. We're still now in the bottom of the fifth. Not Neufeld, but Ezra Farmer. He hits an RBI double, into right field. Yeah, just lost it, and they give him a double on that play. And but then we get Noah Neufeld. He's not done yet. He gets another double into left field. He brings in 2 more runs for his fifth and sixth RBIs of the game. After a 9-run fifth inning for Mesa, Owen Hicks, he continues to have a game at the plate for Colorado Mines as he hits a single back up the middle to bring in Tyler Pena and Jackson Babcock in to score. Mesa got 3 more runs back in the bottom half of the inning, which included a run scored on a single up the middle by none other than Noah Neufeld, who got his 7th RBI of the game. Mesa then, to get this another big win here in game 2 by a score of 18-4.
18-4 victories. Does that say Seward? Yeah. Sorry, for some reason can't see. My eyeballs are not working. He gets the win, goes to 3-0 on the year. 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And once again, you look at the Mesa highlights. I mean, just all the way up and down the board, just hit after hit after hit after RBI after RBI after run. Colorado Mesa wins this one convincingly, 18-4, which I think we kind of saw a theme of that here in this series, as game 3 would be very similar to what we saw in game 2.
You bet. Here in game 3, Mesa jumps out again to a big early lead. Ezra Farmer brought in the first 3 runs with the bases clearing double to left center in the bottom of the second. Then Cameron Cartwright added 2 more runs in the bottom of the second with this blast to left field. Just absolutely, no doubt about it. And then, take a look at the bullpen out there. See a shot out there, apparently playing Ring Around the Rosie, having a good time out there. Wish why not? Number 1 team in the nation here and 2 in the other one, and it was no doubt a good time. After scoring 5 in that second, Mavericks keep it rolling in the third as they bring in 3 more runs behind a Tate Blasey RBI double to left center, and a 2-run dinger here by Joey Blank. Just gone. Then we go for good measure here. We'll see Tate Blasey has 2 more runs with this shot over the left field wall to make the score 10-0 Mesa. And while Colorado Mines gets 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th, thanks to a Tyler Pena RBI single up the middle, the game's going to end with Mesa, leading 10-2, basically solidifying the series win.
So they capture the series victory in game 3. Jackson Eisenhauer goes 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, no earned, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. And I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Mesa just kept batting run after run after run, and Jackson Eisenhauer was your player of the week in the RMAC after his very strong performance in game 3 to solidify the Mavericks securing the victory. But the Mavericks weren't done yet. As we head into game 4, Mavericks weren't done yet.
Yeah, they didn't wait for the second inning to get started this game. Here, Trevor Key brings in Ezra Farmer and Kobe Felix on a single into left. 2 more come in on a throwing error after Rocco DiFrancesco hits the ball right to the third baseman. Couldn't handle it, and goes, just 2 runs in. The bottom of the second, Trevor Key gets his 3rd RBI of the game off a sacrifice fly to deep center field that allowed Kobe Felix to tag up and score from third. Leading 5-0 into the bottom of the 4th, Cameron Cartwright makes it 6-0 with this scorcher that the third baseman is only able to slow down, but it allows Felix to score from second. In the bottom of the 6th, as the Farmer increases Mesa's lead to 7-0 with a single up the middle that brought in Rocco DiFrancesco. And while Carl Mines does get on the board in the 7th with an RBI single by Joey Reese, Mesa wins this one 7-1 to sweep the 4-game series.
So Colorado Mesa moves to 30-3 with that victory over Colorado School of Mines, 7-1 in that one. And I mean, not a lot you can say other than what we've already said. Runs after runs after runs for the Mavericks.
Yeah.
As we head to our go ahead.
Just a dominant series by Mesa. Very impressive. It shows why they are, one of the best teams in the nation.
Absolutely.
Players up and down. I mean, we talked about Noah Neufeld a couple of games ago, Trevor T here. Ezra Farmer, DiFrancesco, of course, you have Cartwright and Felix. Yeah, this run after run. It's impressive.
There's a good team out there in Grand Junction. As we head to the final series of the weekend, the Cowboys of New Mexico Highlands head on down to University.
Jace, let me.
No, you're good. As they head on down to University of Colorado Springs.
Yeah, and Highlands gets off to a great start, which is exactly what they needed. They scored 8 runs in the top of the first. Luby Marujo, he gets a 2 RBI single into right center. Another 2 runs come in on a Jonathan Davis single as the ball gets between the shortstop and third baseman. But that UCCS isn't going to just roll over. They respond, and they did in the bottom of the first. They brought in 7. 2 of which came off of a Tyler Genrich 2-run shot to cut the Cowboys' lead to 8-7. But Highlands, they came right back in the top of the second. Luby Marujo, hit a 2-run single to right center. Cowboys have a 13-10 lead going into the top of the 6th when Ryan Rodriguez hits an RBI double to right field to extend that lead for the Cowboys to 14-10. Then in the 8th inning, Alex Gavin hit an RBI double into left field, bringing in another run for the Cowboys. And New Mexico Highlands comes away with, I'll call it an upset win. They get this one 15-11.
15-11, the final score in game 1. All the Cowboys, 6 of the 9 starting players for the Cowboys had a base hit in this game or a hit at all. Luby Marujo goes 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. Ryan Rodriguez, 3 RBIs as well as Jonathan Davis. He adds 3 RBIs to his total. And Alex Galvan also added 3 RBIs. And yeah, I think you're about right. Cowboys kind of pulled up what most people would say would be an upset. And it starts to look like this Cowboys team is turning the corner. But then game 2 comes around, and it just seemed like the Cowboys didn't turn the corner.
Yeah, I mean, we have a scoreless game going into the, in the first inning. But in the top of the second, New Mexico Highlands, Truett Ross, he gets an RBI double into left field. Going to the bottom of the 5th, Cowboys are leading 3-0, but Tyler Genrich, he singles up the middle to bring in 2 to cut the lead to 1. Then the bottom of the 6th, Colorado Springs, James Harbison, ties the game 4-4 with a 2 RBI double down the left field line. Then Tyler Genrich, he hit one right back up to the pitcher. Ramon Brion, he's a baseball player. He took it like a champ right off his throwing arm, but he gets the ball and tries to get it home. It's a little wide to the right, and unfortunately for Cowboys, a 2-run score on that. Then Ruben Velasco hits a sacrifice fly to left field. Is deep enough for Matthew Shipley to tag and to score from third. And, that was a 7-run bottom of the 6th inning that really propelled the Mountain Lions to a, 9-6 win, as they even up that series at 1 game apiece.
Yeah, Ryder Mancuso goes the complete game for the Mountain Lions. 7 innings pitched, 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. He moves to 3-2 on the year. And yeah, the Cowboys kept this one close. They did. So it's starting to look like this team might turn the corner. As we head into game 3, they kept it even closer in game 3.
They did. UCCS, I guess, on the board in the bottom of the first. Brendan Killeen hits this RBI double to left field. With UCCS leading 2-0 going into the 4th inning. New Mexico Highlands, Jonathan Davis, tied it on a no-doubter here. A 2-run home run over the left field wall. The scores remain tied 2-2 as we are going to go into the bottom of the fifth. And, Carl Springs superstar Bryce Peterson, he changed that with an RBI double that bounced off the left field wall. Then we have Trevor Dale, who has been swinging the bat great all season. He hits a solo shot to left field to cap off a 4-run fifth inning, giving the Mountain Lions a 6-2 lead. But the Cowboys, they do try to rally in the top of the sixth behind tandem Webb Tate's RBI double to left, but New Mexico Highlands could only bring in two, and UCCS wins this one 6-4 to take a 2-1 lead in the 4-game series. But again, another close one for the Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys played this one close. Jonathan Davis, 2 for 3, 2 RBIs, 2 runs, 2-run shot. On the other side, you saw the save come for Liam Whalen. 1 inning pitch, no hits, no runs, no earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts. He records his 3rd save of the season. And as we talked, the Cowboys are turning the corner, but game 4 was majority Mountain Lions.
Yeah, majority, that might be an understatement here. Game 4, Mountain Lions scored early and often here. Bottom of the first, Bryce Peterson hits a 3-run home run over the right field wall to get the Mountain Lions up early. Then the bottom of the second, Tyler Buckman hits a solo shot to left center. And then we're going to be experiencing deja vu here as Buckman then hits his 2nd home run of the day in the bottom of the 4th with this solo shot. Of course, this one's to right. But, Bryce Peterson, he's going to follow up here with a home run of his own. This one's a 3-run home run to right center, giving the Mountain Lions a 7-0 lead as we go, at the end of the 4th here. UCCS would, eventually build up to a 12-1 lead through 6. In the top of the 7th, though, New Mexico Highlands Ryan Rodriguez, he tries to spark the comeback with a solo home run to left field. Ryan Swanson for the Cowboys and his one down the left field line to score Lupe Marujo from first. And Swanson shows off his speed. He rounds second, ends up beating the throw as he slides into third for a triple. Then Jeremiah Diarizo, he doubles down the left field line to bring in Swanson to cut the Mountain Lion lead, 12-4. And while the Cowboys tack on another run in the top of the 8th, in the bottom half of the inning, Matthew Shipley brings in 2 with a single to left. Then Ruben Velasco, he's going to step up to the plate, and he just calls game here. He's going to hit a 3-run home run to left field, giving UCCS the 17-5 win and the 3-1 series win.
Yeah, Garrett Erickson gets the win. He goes 6 2/3, 8 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. And just all the way up and down the line for the Mountain Lions was hit after hit after run as they get 4 home runs in this game against Jimmy Welsher. And the Cowboys fall in this one 17-5 for the Mountain Lions to complete the 3-1 series victory.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Mountain Lions were maybe ready for Welsher in this game. Probably aware of how well he did against Emporia State the week before, and they were zoned in. I mean, Trevor Dale had a great game. Bryce Peterson, another great game, and those guys have really been kind of leading this team, and they have a lot of great help too with Ruben Velasco and James Harbison. Harbison's they're basically Otani. He's gonna get it done on the mound, coming in for as a relief pitcher, and also gets it done at the plate. Just an impressive team. I know that they're extremely disappointed that they dropped that first game. That of course they have this loss in conference now to New Mexico Highlands. And then they got the tie to Regis a few weeks ago due to the game going so late and the field not having lights that they had to call it for darkness. But yeah, I know that they really wish they had those two back, because I think we'd see UCCS receiving votes, along with MSU Denver this week.
Absolutely. And that takes us into this weekend's games. First one we're going to take a look at will be the Rangers and the Cougars, 2 teams that have been struggling in conference play. Look to get on the winning side of things here in this one. How do you see this one going?
I think it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game. I'm looking forward to watching Gio Casas. I'm hoping he's going to, get a chance to start here. He's, had, some good outings and some rough outings, and he's just fun to watch. I think there's a lot of potential with Gio, and I hope that uh, he really kind of breaks through this week and kind of gets a lot of confidence and uh, starts becoming that player and showing how good he truly is. So, yeah, excited for that matchup. Brady Reisman on the other side there for Colorado Christian. He's had some good outings, and then of course some balls that didn't land his way. But great pitcher, and yeah, kind of excited to see that matchup there in game 2 as well.
Yeah,
But as far as how it'll go, I apologize, Jace. I kind of get long winded here, but I'm gonna call this one a split at two each.
I 100% agree. I think this goes 2-2. I think they split it. Both teams get a win and a loss, or 2 wins and a loss, or 2 wins and 2 losses. Yeah, that's math. And this one, math is hard, man. On a Wednesday, it's hard.
You bet.
But they'll get that one. We'll head to the game that I'll be on the call for this weekend here in Las Vegas. Cowboys facing a red-hot Metro State University Denver Roadrunners team.
And I'll say, last week I called UCCS getting a 4-game sweep over New Mexico Highlands, and Highlands came out and surprised, UCCS. I think that they need to get off to, a big start. They had an 8-run first inning against UCCS in that first game that they took. I think, that's going to be important, for them as well. If they can get a big lead, but, with Andrew Baltazar on the mound, I think they're going to have a chance. But boy, Jake Syverson, I mean, he's been absolutely great this year. I mean, look at 1.32 whip, 4-0. I just don't see Highlands getting up on him early, at all. I truly think that this one, unfortunately, is for Highlands is, going to be a 4-0 sweep by MSU Denver. I think that getting into the receiving votes category, after they had been ranked a little earlier this year, they can see that hey, they are coming back after that slip to UCCS earlier that kind of got them out of the rankings, and I think they're determined to get back in, and at this point too, they're right there in the standings. They're and they still have Mesa coming up in a series, and they want to stay right there neck and neck with them and see if they can't be the ones to host that RMAC tournament.
I will be on the call for that one along with my partner Scott Galletti, so I will not have a pick. I will mention this though. The Roadrunners are hitting .353 as a team, also posting a 6.26 ERA on the season. So the Cowboys are going to have to find a way to get runs early and often in this one. We'll head down to Alamosa, where the Grizzlies will host the number 1 team in the nation, Colorado Mesa.
Just quickly, Jace, make sure you tell Scott hi for me when you're calling that game. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, will do.
Yeah, here we have Mesa and Adams State. Mesa's got to be careful with this one. Adams State can put up runs. Osaias Inihosa, he can, just go off. He's impressive. They got Josh Parks, Seth Recker. They can score runs. And if Mesa, feeling good about, being top 1, top 2 in the polls and, maybe overlooking an Adams State team, that's where trouble can occur for a team as good as Mesa. And, looking at from Adams State, I mean, this is, they're going to be coming for Mesa. I mean, Mesa's got the biggest target on their back right now, being ranked as high as they are. Adams State's can give them their best game. And with that said, I still think Mesa, is going to take this one 4-0. Caleb Ruter, he's pitching great. Jackson Eisenhauer coming off of his pitcher of the week. They got the bats like we talked about: Cartwright, Felix, Blank, DeFrancesco. I mean, it just goes on and on. I know Neufeld or T. I mean, it's remarkable what they can do both on the mound and at the plate. I think it's gonna be 4-0 as long as Mesa shows up and plays to their potential. It's just they shouldn't. Adams State shouldn't win a game in this one, but we'll see. That's why they play the game.
I think Colorado Mesa does get this one 4-0 as well. I think the games there's gonna be a few games that are gonna be a lot closer than people expect. Watch this one. Then we'll head down to Golden, Colorado, where the Ore Diggers and the Thunderwolves look to get back to their winning ways. Two teams that have surprisingly struggled this season. 5-7 in the conference for CSU Pueblo, 13-16 overall. Colorado School of Mines, 6-10 in conference, 9-21 overall. I'll get my prediction out of the way on this one. I think this is a split.
That's a good call. This one here, I think that, Pueblo is probably one of the most surprising, teams, this season. And unfortunately surprising in that I really expected them to, be doing better at this point, in the season. They got, a lot of good players, Cooper Latino, Dax Howard, Jacob Petershine, Tyler Clements, and somehow they are just not getting it done. I mean that talent is there. You can see the talent there, and I keep thinking, after that Mesa series, like, well, they're gonna come out and they're gonna, show off their talent and break out of their shell here, and that didn't happen. And last weekend kind of, stopped the same thing. I mean, obviously they win the series, but it still just feels like they're not playing to their potential. And yeah, frankly, that surprises me. Colorado Mines, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, they're a team that it just kind of seems like they're a sleeper. They can jump up and surprise you. Jackson Babcock is absolutely phenomenal. They got pitchers. I love seeing Jackson K getting in the rotation here and him getting his opportunity on the mound. I think he's gonna pitch great. But Mines just seems to be struggling a little bit more than Pueblo at this point. And with that, I'm going to take Pueblo taking the series 3-1.
3-1 from the RMAC Insider on this one. I think if we had to pick a series of the week, I think this one is it, with these two teams struggling as much as they have, trying to find their way back into the winning column, trying to find their way back to their winning ways that we've seen in the past for these teams. I think this might be the series of the weekend to watch, with how I think close and run scoring is going to be in this game. I think you could look at the Adams State and the Colorado Mesa one and think the same thing, with, the fact that they have been able to, both teams really can produce runs. I think that's going to be high scoring. I think we're going to have a good weekend all the way around, though, in RMAC baseball.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, your first choice is probably right. I think that Pueblo Mines game, is probably the series of the week. They're both right, they're neck and neck in the standings. And I think this series could actually go a long way in, seedings for the, RMAC tournament, kind of winning the head to head. Should it come into a tie between those two teams for seedings. So, yeah, I think there's a lot, at stake here with this series. And yeah, it's going to be a fun one. But I agree. It's going to be a fun one all the way around. I mean, Regis, Colorado Christian, I mean, they're looking to, propel themselves into, winning ways again and getting, into the win column. And we'll see what Highlands can do against MSU Denver. We'll see if they, surprise MSU Denver like, they surprise UCCS, or if Denver, is going to show that, yeah, we need to be back up in the national rankings here and basically impose their will and dominate that series. It's going to be a fun weekend as we head into the Easter break.
It will be, and from both of us here, happy Easter. Enjoy the weekend with family, friends, whoever you may invite over or hang out with on Easter. We will see you all next week. You got anything before we go?
The only thing I'll say is on my social media accounts, X and Instagram, I have a link to a Google Sheet for, I try to keep track of all the RMAC players and where they're going to play in the collegiate, summer league. It's kind of fun to watch them, how they do in the summer and how they impact the different teams, really across the nation. Uh, but in order to do that, I need to know where everybody's playing, and so I try to simplify that process. I put this link in, my bios there, and we just ask the guys if you please just go in, put in your name, school, and what team you're going to be playing on. There's other categories for like, you know, where to find a live stream and stuff like that. But don't worry about that. If you just get your name and where you're going to be playing, that's what I need. It kind of helps me, help follow you guys. It makes my summer a little more fun and exciting. And but yeah, if everyone could kind of help out with that, I'd really appreciate it.
And so there you go. There you have it. RMAC Baseball Weekly. We'll see y'all next week. Have a good one.
You bet. Happy Easter, Jace.